What's up, guys? Oni here, coming to you with a 5.4 Fury Warrior guide. I know it's a bit off from the Paladin stuff, but I'm having some fun with it. So here we go. Let's get right into it. Start off with our stat priority, gemming, reforging. Uh, Stat priority goes as follows. Uh, Hit and expertise to cap. Cap is 7.5. Followed by crit. We're looking to try to achieve a 45% crit soft cap, which I'll get into in a second. After crit, we're going to be looking at our mastery as it twins up with our enrage procs. It actually increases our DPS. Well, I'll give you a little read. Increases physical damage done while enraged by the percentage that you have in your mastery. Haste, not a total waste of time, but your lowest bonus to DPS simply will increase, it may help increase rage production, but not as much as actually increasing your hit beyond cap. As we are a dual wielding class, we do have a much higher miss chance than the single weapon classes like arms, and most of the Death Knights won't have this issue either. Increasing our hit beyond cap is a DPS increase and is a secondary stat to look for beyond crit. Once you get your crit to cap at 45%, we'll be looking to increase our mastery first and foremost, followed by our hit. Haste will kind of come because Blizzard decided that haste should be on plate gear for the DKs, and you may get stuck with some of that. So to that effect, gemming is easy. If you are not at crit cap, you need to try and get there. So we're going to be gemming strictly for crit, regardless of our socket bonus. I lucked out on my helm here, and the socket was yellow, so I get the increased strength from it. Meta gems, really only two options. You can either get the Uber meta gem, or if you're like me and don't have that option, go for the strength and 3% increased critical effect. Beyond that, it's nothing but crit in all of our sockets, regardless of the socket bonus, until we start getting to that crit cap that we were discussing. Crit, crit, crit in my gloves here. Same with my pants. Everything crit, crit, crit. All there. That's all we're really looking for our gemming. Once we hit the 45%, our focus will no longer be on crit. It will in fact be on mastery and hit. More mastery than hit. Gem accordingly based on your stats as they sit at the moment. That's your stat priority. Gearing plate, strength plate, reforge to get your hit and expertise caps. Once you have that, reforge to crit if possible. If crit's already on it, go to the old standbys, mastery and or hit to increase your DPS. Moving right into our specialization, it is Fury. As Fury, we get Bloodthirst, Wild Strike, Raging Blow, and Crazed Berserker. Crazed Berserker is a passive, increases your auto attack and your offhand damage. Just allows us to do a little bit better as we dual wield. The rest of it we'll get to in the rotation. Talents. These are my preferred talents. Level 15, Juggernaut. I like being able to charge every 12 seconds instead of every 20. Double Time does get a shout out here. That comes down to your personal preference. You can either charge like a monk would roll, or you can charge every 12 seconds. Both have their uses. Use what you're most comfortable with. Level 30, only really one option, Impending Victory. It's a little bit of damage, so you're not you're still putting damage out there, but it's flat 20% healing. The other two are hots, and you don't have any real control over it. 30-second cooldown does reset after you kill something, so in an ads fight you can get more than just the one. I don't use it on cooldown, but if I'm at 80% and I haven't seen my health go up, the impending victory is handy. May save your life. Level 45 talents. There's two to choose from, depending on situation. My general go-to is Disrupting Shout, just to shut up the casters. But there will be fights, Immersus being one of them, where Piercing Howl and reducing the movement speed of the ads is going to be most beneficial thing for your raid. So keep your head up, keep your tomes of the clear mind, decide which one is best for your situation. Level 60, for me, there's only one option. I will give an argument to Dragon's Roar, although I dislike it because of the knockback. I absolutely hate knockback spells for PvE. They're just annoying. If you've seen my Paladin guides, you know I've tanked, and knockback's always annoying. I like Bladestorm. I like the way I line it up. I like the way you can line it up to increase its damage, and I prefer it as a filler to either my Heroic Strike or my Wild Strike. It's 6 seconds. It's 120 weapon damage for both weapons. So it is going to be better than your Heroic Strike. Level 75. Really, my go-to is Vigilance. It's very handy to help keep tanks and healers alive that are at low health. It's 30% damage reduction to a target, not yourself, unfortunately. But it's for the people, so keep it, use it. Little shout out to Mass Spell Reflect. Depending on your situation, Mass Spell Reflect may be good for you, like in your 5-mans, may be good for there. There's probably times in challenge modes where Mass Spell Reflect might be handy. Vigilance is the standby for me. Level 90. All of them are decent. They're all good DPS increases. Avatar, 3-minute cooldown for 20% increased damage. Bit long for me, to be honest. Bit long. Still is a DPS increase, but 3 minutes is a bit much for me. Bloodbath is really good to twin with your Bladestorm on AoE situations. You really have to use this thing like a robot to get its maximum effect. You really do. You have to line it up with your Colossus Smash window, which we'll talk about in a minute. It's a real pain in the neck. But if you get it, it's probably your best talent to go to. I'm not that good robotically at it, so I go with Stormbolt. Stormbolt hits like a truck, absolute truck, inside your Colossus Smash window. Even at my mediocre gear score, I've crit with this thing for over 1 million, so it just gets better and better. And it's a handy stun that is ranged, which there's more than one situation for. So Stormbolt, my go-to. Glyphage. Really, these are my go-to glyphs. I use Glyph of Bloodthirst as my go-to, but I will switch it out with other glyphs, which I'll give a shout out to Death from Above and Enraged Speed, and Colossus Smash if you're not good at your Sunder Armor. Can all go in there depending on your fight, but getting a little extra healing out of every 4.5 seconds isn't ever a bad thing. Glyph of Recklessness, sorry, I can talk real well this morning, is a flat DPS increase as the duration is extended, so you'll be critting over a longer period of time. And Glyph of Unending Rage, increase your maximum rage by 20. Just allows for a larger pool. In your execute phase, when you're in your Colossus Smash window, because we Colossus Smash before we execute to get maximum executes, this will actually allow you to get 4 of them off within the Colossus window and increase your DPS during the execute phase. Without this, you're not going to have the same amount of rage that you would need to pull that off. So Unending Rage does turn out to be a DPS increase towards the end of the fight. Minor glyphs are, of course, all how you like to look and have no bearing on actually doing any real DPS. So there's your glyphs. Want to talk about a couple of the spells in your spellbook, just real quick. We want to discuss Meat Cleaver, as this leads me to the first argument that you guys can probably hound me for if you'd like, or agree with. I'm going to try and give you an agreeable argument. Dealing damage with Whirlwind increases the number of targets that your Raging Blow hits by 1. This effect stacks up to 3 times. Using Raging Blow will consume this effect. This allows you to do your Cleave AoE. You might notice on my bar I don't have the ability Cleave. And I'm going to recommend you don't either. If we look at Cleave, a sweeping attack that strikes the target and an additional target, dealing 82% weapon damage or 150% if a one-handed weapon is equipped. This only uses your main hand and only hits 2 targets. If we look at, and it doesn't give you your Meat Cleaver proc. If we look at Whirlwind, on the other hand, in a Whirlwind of Steel, you attack all enemies within 8 yards with both weapons, causing 85% weapon damage to each enemy. But we're swinging both weapons, so that will be a DPS increase to just swing the one, even at 115%. So even on 2 targets, Whirlwinding 2 targets will be a DPS increase as opposed to cleaving them. Plus, we'll be stacking Meat Cleaver, which in turn will allow us to hit the same targets with a Raging Blow, which is the real trick to getting real cleave DPS out of your Fury Warrior. So, ditch the cleave. They really need to get it back to its former glory. It's not there. Don't worry about it. Just use your Whirlwind to cleave with. It's the same amount of rage, more DPS, and it gives you the Meat Cleaver effect. So, keep that in mind. Also keep in mind that at my gear level, and I believe up to the 550s, there is really no difference. If there is a difference, it's negligible between Single-Minded Fury and Titan's Grip. Use the best weapons you have. The best weapons I have are one-handers, so I use them. Don't be afraid to go either way with it. Until you start getting to those higher gear scores, then you start getting into some serious math. Take the time to work that math out, see what's going on for you. I'm going to throw it out now. Use the best weapons available to you at all times. So let's see if we can show you how to do some DPS with this guy. First, we're gonna give it just a brief discussion. What we're looking to do is create a storm of damage within a 6-second window. We're going to call the Colossus window, because of Colossus Smash. Colossus Smash allows you to, it'll weaken the defenses of your opponent, allowing your attacks to bypass 100% of their armor for 6 seconds. So we have to try and fit the hardest hitting strikes we can within that 6-second window, and as many of them as possible. So to that effect, we're going to give it a shot. Hopefully I'll get the procs. My crit isn't that high, so please bear with me on this as I try to demonstrate it. We'll get our battle shout. I know I clicked on that. It's actually in my macro right here where I have my other cooldowns. We always want to make sure we have that up. We always want to make sure we're charging into combat. So we charge in. Bloodthirst right off the bat. Don't get a crit. We're going to go ahead and throw down our Recklessness just to try and get a crit. Alright. Wild Strike to fill when it procs, and only when it procs. There's our first one. Otherwise, we're going to Heroic Strike or Blade Storm. There's our second one. Colossus Smash, Stormbolt, Raging Blow, and I can squeeze another Raging Blow in there. That's 4. That's what we're looking to do. That is going to get that last one in. I Berserker Raged, which gives me another Enrage, 2 Raging Blow. So we got that in there. There's Mr. Paladin in his lovely little gear set. Giving me a Sacred Shield. Knows what he's doing. That's really what we're looking to do. We're just looking to try and get as many of our attacks into our Colossus window as possible. To try and get them to hit as hard as we can. If we look at this real quick, we did get one critical out of our Stormbolt. The Stormbolt itself was for about 500k. But that's what we're really looking to do over and over again. So if we demonstrate it, okay, we're going to fill in with Blade Storm because we didn't get a proc. Either proc for Wild Strike or Raging Blow. Get that in there. Okay, now we have a Wild Strike proc. And it's really just going like this. On cooldown, no procs. We're going to Heroic Strike. You can get 2 in that 45-second window. We have a proc. Cool. Now we're trying to get 2 of these to line it up proper. There's our second one. Colossus Smash. Stormbolt. Raging Blow. Berserker Rage, Raging Blow. There you go. And we're just going to keep going. We got another proc already. Excellent. That's 2. Brilliant. Now we're just going to fill it in. Wait for our Colossus Smash to come back. There we go. Colossus Smash. Raging Blow. Bloodthirst. Procced. Raging Blow. And we just alternate those cycles just like that. We're going to Wild Strike while it's on cooldown. We have another proc. And keep it going. Heroic Strike as our filler. And we have a Raging Blow proc. So Colossus Smash. Stormbolt. Up, dropped off. We'll Berserker Rage to get that in. Try to get one more in. We missed it, but that's alright. We gave it our best effort. That's our single target rotation. Nice and simple. If I can, I will try to demonstrate a full pull rotation to you. Remembering I won't be hitting my Potion of Mogu power, but you should be on your pull. We're just going to give it a couple more seconds. Brilliant. On the pull, make sure your Shattering Throw is down. This is very important. On the pull, we're going to be looking to charge in. Pop our cooldowns. Bloodthirst. Trying to get that proc. Got our proc. Colossus Smash. Stormbolt. Raging Blow. Shattering Throw. Bloodthirst, and then Blade Storm. That is going to be your best opener right off the bat there. Commonly in a raid, fully raid buffed, that opener will get me, at my gear score, about 300k DPS to start. Not anything big, but please remember, my gear score is at 518. So that's your single target. Let's go over to these little dummies to try and get our cleaving AoE in. Blade Storm should be pretty obvious if you have it up and a bunch of targets to hit. Blade Storm, why not? I do recommend always bloodthirsting before you Blade Storm to try and get that Enrage proc, or Berserker Raging before you Blade Storm to have the Enrage proc. Your Enrage lasts 6 seconds. Oddly enough, so does your Blade Storm. So they do line up really well. So you do want to try and do that. in every occasion to increase your damage by your mastery. So in my case, that's an 18% damage bonus. So do try to line that up. But for your basic AoE, we have our mobs in here. If you're low on rage, charge in. If not, heroic leap. It is a DPS increase. And we are going to go ahead and get our bloodthirst, try to get a proc, but we're just going to whirlwind in, stacking our meat cleavers, as you can see. We got our raging blow to proc, and now we'll hit all the targets. And we're just going to go back and forth, around and around like that. All there really is to it. You'll get a very solid cleaving AoE out of that. Can be done on the move. I love it in the Garrosh encounter. Really nice and simple to do. Not a whole lot of thought going on in it. But we are watching it. Remember to keep your toolbox always available, guys. Quick shout out to the toolbox. This is why we like to bring warriors that know what they're doing. They do bring rallying cry. They do bring vigilance. They do bring demoralizing banner. We do bring our skull banner. DPS increases for the raid. Remember on your single target, guys, if you have the opportunity to, and should, when you're just going for it, get your sunders up and find a way to track the debuff. There you go. That is a DPS increase to have that up. While we're going along, we'll get our proc. Just use this as a filler to get in there. Doesn't really help you during your window, but it helps outside of the window. Just to keep that weakened armor up whenever possible. And fill it in. Will be a DPS increase to you and to your raid. So maintain your weakened armor up. A lot of tanks don't do it anymore, so it kind of falls onto us. That's really it, guys. Not a whole lot to cover. Not a whole lot to go through. Remember, this is a patient calculating spec, which is kind of annoying because it's Fury. But we do have a moment in time when we do get to unleash hell. Thanks for watching. See you guys later.